Hey guys, welcome to Peripheral Vision, and today we're going to be taking a look at the PS3. If I can fit this in here. Yes, we can. And yes, autofocus. Thank goodness. I apologize for that corner and that corner over here. I just can't really fit everything properly in frame. But, oh well, we can still see the PS3. That's what matters. And oh my god, this thing is filthy. But anyway, time for a review for a PS3, because we need to do one. Now, the PlayStation 3, out of all four consoles, is actually probably my favorite, not because of nostalgic reasons. When it comes to nostalgic reasons, I'd probably choose either one or two, but for most features and stuff like that, and the biggest library, I believe that this is probably the best out of all of them, because they introduced a lot of things with this console. Some things they were actually introduced on the PS2, but were properly mastered on PS3. Now, before I move on to why I love the console so much, let's take a look at this thing. Now, this thing had three different designs. I actually managed to have two of them with me right now. This is the slim model. We also have a backwards compatible for PS2, PS3. That was a launch model. And then they made another version of the thick model, but it's not backwards compatible, but I'll go over that soon. Then there's a super slim, and the super slim, I don't have that with me, but I'll queue up a picture like right here. It has a little sliding door thing, and it looks kind of weird. I personally don't like it because I think it's rather flimsy, and I believe it will break very easily. I honestly prefer this console out of all three, unless you can find a working backwards compatible one that plays PS2 games. By all means, go get that one. Anyway, let's take a look at this model. Now, this is the middle version, which I gotta say is a happy medium. I absolutely love this thing. So as you can tell, it has a very matte finish. Right here, we got PS3 engraved. It looks really, really pretty. I love the way how it's laid out. Remember when I saw it, I'm like, man, this thing is not all that slim. It's still pretty thick, but holy crap, this is still a beautiful console. And then right here, we got the eject button for the disc, and then we got a power button right here. And then we get the place where you insert your discs, which I absolutely love the slot loading features. I just find them so awesome. And then down here, we got two USB 2.0 ports. Then we got some LEDs, one dedicated to stuff being written onto the hard drive, and this is for the Wi-Fi. Right here is where the hard drive goes, but it has a screw down here, so you have to unscrew something, and then you gotta take it out, and then you can replace your hard drive if you're not really happy with the size of your hard drive. That I absolutely love about this console. It's super easy to upgrade. This is originally a 160 gig, and I upgraded it to a 500 gig. Alright, when you move it around, we got this nothing. Okay, awesome. Let's go to the back. Alright, so when it comes to the back, we got a lot of ventilation, and I apologize for keep hitting the camera. So anyway, we got a lot of ventilation up here. We got the LAN adapters, so if you want to plug your Ethernet cable in here, by all means, go ahead. And I highly recommend doing that, especially if you plan on using PlayStation Now. It's a streaming service where you can play some old games or just games that you just want to rent, which is really nice. Then we got HDMI out, which is very nice. However, if you want to start recording your gameplay for PS3, like if you want to get a capture card or anything like that, you can't really use the HDMI because of HDCP. It's a kind of complicated story. But anyway, let's move on. Then we got the optical out in case you want to have some better sounding sound. If you have like a gaming headset like the Astro A40s or A50s or even A30s, yeah, you gotta use this to hear your game. And my god, it sounds freaking amazing. Go get it. Then we got the AV out. Now this is multiple things. They could either go from RF to standard AV, where it's only the yellow, white, and red, or even go to the component cables, which, if you're going to record gameplay, that's the best way to go, the component cables. Anyway, then we got the power cord, which is a very simple one, not too proprietary, but there we go, power, because you need power to turn this thing on. Then on the other side, my thing has a crap ton of scratches, because, I don't want to explain why. But anyway, that's the design of the PS3. Very, very unique. I like the roundness on top. It looks very, very nice. But now let's take a look at the thicker PS3, the backwards compatible one. And here is a launch PS3. Now, I like how it's so glossy and like there's like a bunch of light reflecting off it. Like, it's so heavenly. I gotta say, this, yes, a working backwards compatible PS3 is very, very heavenly. Alright, so let's take a look at the design of this thing. This thing is bulky. This thing is freaking huge. Now, I remember when I first saw this, the PlayStation 3 logo. I'm like, why in the world are they using the Spider-Man font? And I never understood why. If you guys know, let me know in the comments, because, well, we can share information with each other. Right here, there's supposed to be a giant flap right here, but that seems to be missing. That seems to be relatively common with these things, because I've only seen another backwards compatible PS2 in my life. Not PS2, PS3. And it was also missing this thing here. So, alright. You flap it up, and here we got some multimedia things. Like we got the SD card reader right here, and then we got the memory sticks for the the PSP. They go in here. This apparently does CF. I have no idea what in the world CF does, and I guess this is the button to eject it. I have no idea. Let's move on. Okay, we got the slot loader right here for the disc. Oh yeah, this thing can turn. I like that. Yay, it can turn. Anyway, so then we got the heat sensitive eject and power things. I don't want to call them buttons, so I'm just gonna call them sensors. Yeah, that sounds like a proper word. Alright, yeah, this thing is quite big. Oh, holy crap. It's not that heavy. But anyway, right down here, this is where you want to swap out the hard drive if you want to, and it's relatively easy. You just dig out a corner, not a corner, but out a side, and apparently you need fingernails, and that's where the hard drive is. Then you unscrew this, pull this out, take it out of the tray, and then just simply replace it. Alright, next, what do we got here? We got HDMI out, which good. HDMI is good. Then we got the internet stuff, you know, the Ethernet cable thing. Then we got the optical out cable, the AV out. Then we got a power switch in case you really want to keep this thing on or off. And then we got this. I want to call this the PC power cord, because you only see these kind of cords on PCs. When it comes to consoles, actually no, I think the Xbox 360 had something like this too. By the way, do not use an Xbox 360 thing on this. It'll pretty much melt this thing. So yeah, when you're trying to look for proper cables, make sure the voltage and everything is correct. Luckily, you can look it up, like on the bottom, right down here. And I knocked some figures over. Yeah, right down here, it says like what the voltage and everything is. So there you go. So that's pretty much the design of it. It's very glossy, very thick, very heavy. Unfortunately, these things are not too reliable, but I recommend the middle model when it comes to reliability. But this is still a great model. I absolutely love how it plays backwards compatible PS2. And I don't know how to speak English, I'm sorry. Anyway, most other PlayStations do not have the backward compatibility with PS2. They can all play PS1 games, but PS2 they just don't want to, unless you find some special homebrew firmware that allows you to do that. But then it's software emulation. Oh my god, what is that? That is not good. I need to fix that up. Anyway, I mentioned earlier there's another model of the thick PS3. All it pretty much did was just get rid of the PS2 backwards compatibility, made this thing disappear so it's just one big flap, and only had 2 USB ports. This one has 4. So that's the best way to look for backwards compatibility. 4 USB and this flap. And you can't play your PlayStation without your controller. So let's take a look at the controller. Now there's 2 different designs of the PS3 controller. This is the DualShock 3. For a while they had it so there was no DualShock and it was only the 6-axis. So no rumble features, and they were a lot lighter, and they were very cheaply made. Like even the shell, it was actually like see-through. It was just really, really garbage quality. Anyway, when the thing was first being announced, it had a boomerang controller, and that just looked freaking terrible. So I'm happy they went back to the standard DualShock design. Now, I love the way that this thing is designed. Like here, it's pretty much mostly the same as PS1 and PS2 DualShocks, but they changed a few things. Like instead of having an analog button, you have the PS button. And that's pretty much just wireless stuff. You can connect your controller to the console, and LEDs so it indicates which one you are. The fact that PS4 doesn't do that properly is kind of stupid. Anyway, so also one more thing that's different are the triggers. The L2 and R2 are legitimate analog triggers instead of being just buttons. Now people don't really like these because your fingers can easily slip off, and they love how the 360 one is designed because it has like a concave arc thing, so it wraps around your finger a lot better. Personally, I really love this controller. A lot of people are very hit and miss about it. It's just that I grew up with this controller, so I'm used to it. So anyway, we got the face buttons, the X, circle, square, triangle. The PlayStation family. The family of this house. Yeah, the PlayStation lives here. And that is confirmed. But yeah, we grew up with PlayStation, so this is what we're used to. We got 2 analog sticks, one to control the movement, one to control the camera. When it came to PS3 games, they did this a lot. And I gotta say, I freaking hate it. But that's just my personal preference. Okay, then we got start and select. Yay. Great D-pad, much better than the Xbox 360's. Then we got our shoulder buttons up here, and we already went over the triggers. And then we got a micro USB port right here to charge the controller and connect it to your console. And I love how they're not doing any proprietary things, so if you ever break the cord for some reason, it's really easy to replace it. You can find it anywhere. You can find it like Radio Shack, if you even find a Radio Shack around your house anymore. So anyway, that's pretty much a controller. It's wireless, and it's DualShock, and it works. And I like them. I like them a lot. A lot of people don't like them for some reason, but I like these. Now, the reason I chose PS3 over Xbox is because of the exclusives. Now, if I was like a shooter guy, I would totally go for the Xbox stuff, but unfortunately, I'm not into that kind of stuff. I'm more into like platformers and other stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to go over my whole collection of games because we'll be here forever, but I'm going to be going over like a handful of games that are exclusive to the console. Now, these are actually just recent releases, the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5. They're pretty much just remastered versions of the PS2 games, but they're actually the final mix versions that were only in Japan, but you know, properly dubbed and other stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really happy these came to PS3, and plus the game cleans up so nicely on PS3. If you're playing it on HD TV, go with these because the PS2 ones just look crappy compared to this. Then we got Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is an amazing game. It's a platformer, and you can also design your own levels, and if you're not all that creative, there's some other levels that people create, and you can play, and then, oh my god, it's so fun. I highly recommend this. But if you're going to get this game, get the second version. There's a lot more options you can play with it. No, I take that back. Go with the third version. Little Big Planet 3 is amazing. And plus, all the DLC that was in this one and the second, they're all compatible with Little Big Planet 3, which is amazing. So, Little Big Planet. Then we got the Uncharted series. A lot of people prefer this one out of all of them. I only chose this one because I only have this on disc. This is like the only disc copy that I have, with a case, should I say. And plus it came with my PS3, so sentimental value. Now, this game, I saw it as a shooter game, and I'm like, meh. But I saw the environments, and the environments look really pretty, and I actually had a really good time with this. But the only reason why I gave this game a shot was because of the developer. I absolutely love this developer because they made my favorite IP of all time, Crash Bandicoot. So I gotta say, if you get a PS3, the Uncharted collection series is absolutely amazing. It has some multiplayer, which is apparently really fun. And if you have a PS4, they're remastering all 3 Uncharted games, but it's only going to be the campaign, so there's not going to be any multiplayer. But apparently people love the multiplayer in this game. Probably not as big as Call of Duty, obviously, but apparently it does have quite the cult following. And then we got another kart racer. Now, I was more into like Crash Team Racing when I was younger, but then Mod Nation Racers came along, and it's pretty much a level editor, and you can even design your own characters. And what's really cool is you can go online and download some other people's characters, and there's like a huge variety of characters. You can even play as Sora from Kingdom Hearts, and it's free. You just have somebody create it, and you just look it up and find it. I did, and it looks freaking amazing. Now, do I find this as an amazing kart racer? Personally, I find it okay. Like, for an exclusive, it's not bad, but there's much better kart racers on PS3. Like, the Sonic and All-Stars Racing series. That is an amazing series. That pretty much blows this one out of the water. But hey, another exclusive! And it was also on PS Vita, and so was Little Big Planet. So, let's move on. Some of my favorite games on this console, well, one is Sonic Generations, but I no longer have that on disc, unfortunately. But then we got games like Guitar Hero, the Naruto Storm series, and South Park Stick of Truth. This game is freaking amazing. Get this. Unless you're younger than 18. Then I really recommend you don't play this yet. So overall, what are my thoughts on the system? I absolutely love this thing, as I said earlier, and I highly recommend you pick one up. Even if you're an Xbox guy, there's still plenty of games on PlayStation that I highly recommend that you play. The exclusives are the best thing about this thing. Unfortunately, the downsides to this is recording with it is a pain in the butt, but that's just more of a YouTuber situation. That's not really much of a casual person type of deal that people would worry about. And unfortunately, a lot of games on PS3, they're not in 1080p, so if you really care about the resolution and stuff like that, you're probably better off going to Xbox. And there's some games that perform better on Xbox than PlayStation. I'm mostly a PlayStation and Nintendo fanboy, but I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I have a lot more fun on this console than the PS4, because a lot of the games that are already on PS4 are on PS3 anyway. And what's really cool is, like, that's actually another thing that I like about this console. You don't have to upgrade to PS4 because most of the library on PS4 is already on this thing. And the online services like PlayStation Plus, where you pay $50 a year and you get free games every month. The PlayStation Now, where you can stream games and you just rent them for, like, oh, I want to try this game out. Oh, I have a couple of dollars. Let's try it out. And if the game sucks, yeah, you only spent a couple of dollars. It wasn't that bad. And the PlayStation Network. A lot of people are hit and miss about the PlayStation Network. I gotta say, it kind of irritated me when it went down for like 3 months. And the fact that people's information got stolen and blah, 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 blah. And I know I'm trying to make this thing sound okay, but that's not really helping me. But the online gaming, it kind of started with PS2 and Xbox, but it was really, really, really big and pretty much what should I say, a game standard when it came to PS3 and 360. Like, it was a standard for a lot of games. Like so many games had some type of online capabilities, whether it be multiplayer, leaderboards, anything like that. And online co-op was also really fun as well. But personally, I'd rather have my friends on the couch with me. But that's just me being old. Now, as I said earlier, I recommend getting the slim model that I was showing off earlier in the video because they seem to be the most reliable ones. And if you're going to be getting PlayStation Plus, I highly recommend you go for a 500 gig because then you have a lot of space to save your games. Also, this thing can play music, videos, go through pictures and other stuff like that. It has YouTube, Netflix, go on the internet. There's a lot of handy-dandy features with this thing, and it makes me love it even more. So if you want to jam out, blare your speakers out in your stereo system or your TV, you do it with the PlayStation. PlayStation is the best thing to do it with, I think. Also, there's a bunch of themes you could download on this thing too for free. So, yeah. No, head controller! No! And as always, later days.